Get the advice you need from your local real estate pros. Here are your hosts, Jim DePola and Johnny C. Live on Real Radio.
Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Florida Talk Real Estate, your number one information provider of all things real estate down here in Florida and especially South Florida. This is Jim DePola, your host for way too long. I've been around now. We're going on now 12 years on this show. So thank you so much for supporting us all this time. And Johnny C. will be here in just a little bit. He's stuck in traffic. Mike has decided to take the day off for family stuff. So Mike, enjoy today. Yep. I'm glad that he's doing that. Last week he was not feeling well. So at least today it's a happy thing. We've got Jimothy, the producer, here. How you doing, Jimothy?
Hello, and good morning, Jim. Always a pleasure to be with you here, with Ross and with Johnny when he gets here.
Yeah, and when Johnny gets here.
Great Saturday.
And we've got Ross Komarinetz from Brightway, Juno Beach. The only Brightway office that exists in this universe is the Juno Beach office. You know, Ross, we just had a guy this week, Tom. So, Tom, if you're listening right now, he sent a message saying, hey, I want the insurance information. So how we normally do this, guys, is in that email, if Tom had just given us his address, we could have just sent it off to Ross immediately. Ross and his team would go and do the analytics on the property. If Ross had any questions, you would call, right, Ross, if you had any questions. And if not, he would magically get 2 quotes in your inbox. The Premier quote, which is like regular insurance with normal.
It's good cover. It's
high end, right?
I
want to say the deductible,
like,
normal, regular
Cadillac,
deductibles,
or it's going to be pretty much like full coverage.
Yeah, but not like coverage. crazy, not like maybe is it on the higher end?
I mean, our Premier quote is our higher.
Yeah, so you have the low deductible, you get new everything,
extra
all of that.
Endorsements on there to make it better, and then we send over our budget quote as well. That's going to have reduce contents, make it a little bit more affordable by doing
make it more affordable, but still satisfy lender requirements usually. Yeah. So
and then maybe you find something in between, right? That can work for you as well, right?
Absolutely. And now we have something that's actually pretty cool. If you email me or however you reach out to me and say, hey, I own my home, my insurance went up, can I get a quote? Now I can email you a link. And if you have an online account with your current provider, your current insurance company, you just enter your username and password for that company. And then I'll get an email with your coverages that I can see. And I can go, hey, I can give you an apples to apples quote, and then also look at it and go, hey, man, did you know you had this? Did you know your water damage was limited?
That could be really valuable.
Stuff like that.
That's super valuable, guys, because like what we've been doing with Ross about the emails going out and getting the Premier quote and the discount quote, that's been a great system. But to have the extra level where you get to see what their policy's like right now, to really granularly get in there and figure out what you could do for them, that's pretty powerful, dude.
Yeah, I mean, because we've just never tried to be real invasive, like, oh, in order to give us a quote, give us this, so we just wanted to be able to say, hey, if you want a quote, we'll send you 2 different ones. Maybe you have a version of one of those, or maybe a blend, but I think that the way that we're doing it now is going to not only make it easier on us and them, but it's going to cut down time, and it'll be more accurate, because just the other day, I was talking to one of my clients, and he said, hey, I just got an invoice from the carrier that should have been canceled. I went with somebody. I got another policy with XYZ insurance agent or insurance company for whatever less. I went, wait a second. I know I had this conversation with you. I shopped it. Your current carrier was the best that we had, apples to apples. So I said, hey, I shopped it. I'm just curious. Can you send me the declarations page or whatever?
Right.
Dude. His dwelling coverage currently was $450,000.
Right.
They gave him a policy for $360,000.
Wow.
He had replacement. He had our Premier policy basically.
Mm-hmm.
And they cut his contents in half. They removed the replacement costs. They took off all the extra endorsements. They gave him limited water damage at $10,000 and increased his deductibles. And I said, hey man, did you know that? No.
Because all they care about is the bottom
That
line.
bottom
how much they're
line,
paying.
that bottom line. And then what
Right.
the funny question was, well, is my current carrier as good as this carrier? And I said, what does it matter? All you're looking at is the premium.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And I said, Mr. Customer, I'm not upset with you for wanting to save money. I get
Right,
it,
of
man. If I
course,
could save you money, I would. What who I'm upset with is the agent that would write you that policy and go to bed at night.
And not
Because
tell
he
you
has
what's
to
going
get
on.
that declarations page.
Right.
Because he has to provide it to the carrier as proof of coverage.
Mm-hmm.
So he's seeing what my customer has, and he's going to bed at night giving him garbage.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's I don't know, man. I don't know that.
I think it must be in the water, Ross, because I had a couple of examples this week where people weren't accepting the advice that we were trying to give them, and sometimes they were just interpreting completely wrong or whatever, but they were getting very upset about the information. And all we're trying to do is like keep them fully informed so they know that they're making the proper decisions for their personal situation. But it must be in the water or something, man, where but about that. But we got Johnny back.
Oh,
Thank
hello,
God. Johnny
gentlemen.
C is in the house.
Oh my goodness! You sounded great starting the show, by the way. I think you should start it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You want to come in? You're just trying to come in later every day. Give you an extra 10 minutes, right? I'm so glad to have you here, Johnny.
Hey,
I don't like the Jimmy D experience.
Good morning, gentlemen, and good morning to everybody joining us. I do see cameras set up. We're streaming live, Facebook.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Sorry for jumping into your picture there so shockingly, but great to have you with us. 877-927-6969. And I hate diving in here and some of those situations that are out there. We've talked about Florida Talk Real Estate and this team for a long time about how they care about your outcome. Ross's example right there is just nailing it. It's like, how does that guy, he or she, sleep at night knowing that they just put that person, their customer, in that position, and they know nothing about it?
And I know the agent, and I know the agency very intimately.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a Brightway, it's not another Brightway. So, but I know them very intimately, and I know that the guy only cares about putting a policy on the book. That's it.
He wants to close the deal. Just
that
close.
Drives me nuts.
Me too. This is me too. I was talking to somebody at dinner yesterday, and we were talking about how we were talking about a specific real estate thing that popped up, and that I could have done it this way, and it would have been very advantageous to me as a professional, but it wasn't going to be the best situation for the customer. And the people I were talking to didn't know me very well. And they were like, well, and I said, well, I wasn't going to, and they said, so did you do it? And I was like, no, I did not do it. I'd rather walk away than do the thing that I don't feel ethically that I can sleep at night. And because I would be worrying about that. So here's an example of that. So let me just do this as a shout out. We're going to roll into shout outs here. Okay.
Shout out.
So I want to give a shout out to Maria and also a thank you to Kevin. Everybody knows Kevin here because he was from deadhelper.com.
Oh yeah.
Kevin, his mom, Kevin lost his dad. God bless. And they had an older house in Boynton, and the repairs needed for the house were a little bit too much for Kevin's mom. She's in her 80s, right? Super sharp lady, really fun to hang out with her. I hung out with her for about 3 months now, right? So we had a very complicated situation. She had a house in disrepair, but it had a lot of equity as it sat. What we were trying to figure out, was there enough equity to sell the house, buy a new place for her that was in better condition, like a downsize, like a condo or something, or a townhome, and buy it cash. And then if we're really lucky to have some money left over to purchase a vehicle, right?
Okay.
So that and the numbers were very tight on everything. So it was it took us 3 months for us to go through this process, and it was a little slow at the beginning. And then it picked up, and then it got slow in the middle, and then it picked up again at the end. But we were able to close Maria yesterday.
Awesome.
Thursday as a double close. So what we did is this saved Maria thousands and thousands of dollars, which I'm so happy about because she's on a budget. So what we were able to do is we came in at 9:30 in the morning and closed on the sale of her property. which was a finance transaction. Then we waited for the money to get in from the lender to the title company's bank account so that Maria could pay off her loan and then have the money to buy the new house. Then at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, we went from West Palm Beach to Boca to another title company where she bought her other house cash, her condo cash, from the proceeds she got from 9:30 in the morning.
Excellent.
So she only had to move once. She only has to move once, and she doesn't have to worry about storage fees, which can be very, very expensive. I had one family where they had to keep their stuff in storage for only 2 weeks. This is last year. Now, it was a pretty big house, 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, let's say 2,300 square feet. So a lot of stuff. But because they couldn't close on the same day and they had to wait like 2 weeks and they had to put it in storage, the moving company was charging them well over $5,000 just for those 2 weeks, right? Think about
Just
that.
for the storage?
Yeah, just for the
For 2
storage. And then
weeks.
they have to move it. Well, they have to move it off the truck, put it in a storage,
Oh,
take
okay.
it back on the
But
truck, then
that's
get it
also
to
the
the house.
moving part.
Yeah, so that's
I
part,
was gonna
but
say, they coulda-
still, but it costs an extra, like if they could do it the same day, they could have saved over $5,000, right?
Yeah.
So these are big numbers,
Yes.
right? So when you're trying to do it and when you
Yeah.
have somebody on a budget, you have to care about these things, right? So we worked all that out. But the other thing that we really had to be concerned about was the condo fees. When you're on a fixed budget, right? When you're on a fixed income and you're very tight on your money, if the condo fees or the homeowner association fees go up too high, it can make you homeless,
Sure can.
right? And I've seen it once or twice in the past during short sales, 10, 12 years ago. I haven't seen it lately. But because of the double whammy of the insurance crisis we're going through, plus that Surfside, I always say Sunny
I
Isles.
mean,
Is
you
it
can- it's
Surfside
the-
or Sunny? I always get it wrong. Surfside or Sunny Isles?
Surfside.
Surfside, I'm pretty
I
sure.
don't remember.
I think it's Surfside. So Surfside, the building that collapsed, where they have the new regulations about making sure that the buildings are structurally sound. And there were so many associations down here with these 1970s, 1980s buildings that kicked the can down the road and really didn't do what they were supposed to do. Now we're all paying the piper.
Yep.
So some of these HOAs, just to give you an example, there was a place in Delray, a 55 and over community we looked at. The HOA was like in the fives, which was kind of a little high, but you got a lot of amenities for the $500 a month.
I feel like that's probably the going rate right now.
Yeah, so it wasn't too bad, right?
HOA fees.
But compared to the price of the units, $500 a month was a lot, right?
Right.
But now, because kick the can down the road, they got the older buildings, everything lined up perfect. One of the HOAs in that community, now there's a bunch of different subdivision community associations.
Yeah.
Going from $520 a month to $1,200 a month. Now, $1,200 a month, I calculated it for the average unit over there. That's 1% of the value of the unit.
Jeez.
They're worth about $120,
Oh.
and you're paying $1,200 a month. Now, can you imagine being on a fixed income? You bought the unit, even if you bought it outright, because back then you can buy them for $50,000, let's say, and you're like, I'm staying here for my life. I have a high HOA, or condo fee, but the amenities I get are excellent, for being a retiree. And then all of a sudden they just come and say, hey, that $500 a month, now you have to pay $700 a month more, $8,400 a year.
Yeah, and you go, why? And they go, well, because we mismanaged for years. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and-
pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Because you figure over that same course of time, had they just done little incremental and then kept the maintenance up,
Mhm.
it wouldn't have gotten to 1,200 to
Yes.
this point, right? I mean,
Exactly.
safe to say.
Yes. And some of it's the insurance.
Some of it.
Well,
Okay,
sure.
some
Yeah.
of it's insurance, but you're
Well,
right.
they're going
It could have
up.
saved. It could have saved. And think about it. When you're the condo board person, most condo board people, if you think about it, right? Do they really want to go to everybody in their community and go, hey, we got to jump up the HOA because we got to do all this deferred maintenance? Most of them, what I've experienced is they're trying to save the money and kick the can down the road because they just don't want to deal with it. And then they look like saviors to the community. Oh, you saved us all that money.
Yep.
Well, not really. What you did is you just create a bigger problem down the road.
Plus, they might live there too, so they would be raising their own rates.
Oh, I didn't even think about self-interest. Duh.
Right?
It's self-interest matters. And the other thing is now the state regulations require them to prove that they're doing the right thing. That's why we're going to all go through this pain right now.
Mhm.
So now even the affordable 55 and over communities are really not that affordable for people anymore. We're just going through such a huge demographic change of what's going on in this whole area. We're really transforming. I'm not saying it's good, bad, or indifferent.
It is.
It is. And
Yep.
there's nothing you're going to be able to do about it. I look at all the highways and everything now and see like that whole mess down by Spanish River down to Palmetto Park with all the flyovers being built and the express lanes and everything. And I feel like, Dade County. That's what I think of. That's what I think of when I'm down in that area. It's like, oh, I'm so glad I'm in the North County now, but it's coming. It's all coming.
It's inevitable. Yeah.
Is that bad? So I wanted to do so Maria, how we did it, we went through probably 30 different condos. Looked at all of them, found a couple we really liked. Then when we were checking to find out was the can kicked down to the road or are they dealing with the issues, we had to walk away from some of the units we were interested in because it didn't make sense.
Yeah.
Finally found a property in the neighborhood that she wanted to be in. They just jacked up the condo fees because they just did the stuff that needed to be done. Will there be stuff in the future? No guarantee. But at least we did the upfront work now to know that there's nothing going to happen in the immediate future. And it's important to do that extra effort for your customers. And a
Sure.
lot of realtors would not do that. A lot of realtors would not be worrying, oh, well, this is the condo fee and that's it. And not thinking, well, what happens when a senior moves in there and they're on a fixed income? And, somebody has to be there to watch out for that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
So if you have any kind of questions about downsizing, because that's what Maria needed to do, but it's very confusing. You're worried about the whole chicken and egg. How am I going to sell my house if I don't know where I'm going to live? I'm also worried about, what the future would hold if I did move. Should I move? Should I not move? Sometimes the answer is no. When we were at the closing table, Maria was so happy, but she said that if she had to pay the HOA fees that she was seeing with I keep calling HOA, but condo fees that some of the other places she was looking at, she'd rather have renovated her single family home and just kept it, right? And it was a pretty massive renovation, but in a way I wouldn't have blamed her because there was a ton of equity in there.
Right.
But this gets her out of all that stuff. She can enjoy her life and move on. So congratulations, Mary. Really happy for you.
Yeah, congratulations is right. And thanks for putting trust into the team.
Yeah, thank you so much. Also, George Logan. George. Hey, George. George is another retiree, a senior. He'll be going into surgery, I think, next week's knee surgery. So I hope you do well on that. He came to me like 3-4 months ago, wanted to sell his unit because he wanted to downsize. He bought the unit 3 months before he came to me, right? 3 or 4 months. So he had just bought the unit and then he had to sell it again. So we went through a lot. We put it on the market. It was a little slow. This is when the interest is like November. So it was the highest interest rates, right? So it was a little slow. He was disappointed that we didn't get that chop, 20 showings, 5 offers in 3 days because that market's gone, right? So he was.
Is that the way it was when he bought it?
Yes.
Was it?
Well, April, it wasn't bad because we hadn't really, June is when the interest rates really started going up that last year. So it wasn't 20 showings, 5 offers in 3 days, but it was probably more than a showing a day and maybe a couple of offers. So what happened with George is he was a little disappointed about that. Then he decided to rent it. I didn't think that was a good idea, but he's the boss. I'm the consultant. So we went ahead and put it on the market to rent. We got the renter. Then we found out because the HOA is a little upset with George about something silly. They're having HOA fight. They would not allow the renter to take the lease. Oh. So then we canceled the whole thing. We found that person another place to rent in that community, thank God. And then George finally decided that he wanted to move back home to Asheville, North Carolina. So he's going to be heading up there. So he wanted to wait and to put the house on the market after he found out where when he gets the unit in Asheville. The problem with that is we're in season right now, and he's in a community with membership equity. When you buy this house, it's in Boynton, you have to pay $65,000 for a membership equity on top of the purchase of the house, right? So I told him, look, we're in season right now. If you wait to when you want to put the house on the market, we'll be out of season. You might sit there and get nothing for a very long time, and then you're going to be stressed that you can't sell the house, but you need to move to Asheville. My advice is let's put it on the market now, see if we can find somebody that can give you more time to close, and then we'll go there. He said, okay. He took my advice. We put a house on the market. 2 days later, we went under contract.
Excellent.
Yeah. So congratulations, George. He's a lucky guy, and I'm really happy for him.
Very nice.
So anyway, are we at the break time or no? No. We got plenty of time.
You want,
okay,
I mean,
cool.
It's your show, buddy.
I feel like I've been jabbering away enough. So, hey, we got a lot to talk about today. I want to talk to Ross about some insurance stuff and some exciting stuff about a new service. We're going to talk about it in a second, not right now, but how do I describe it? New service?
No, it's just something that we're just kind of that we
emphasizing
wanted to do a little bit more of before everything got crazy 4 years ago.
Yeah, so we're going to start it now. It's kind of exciting. So we're talking about a new thing that Ross wants to put out there to let people know about services that he has, and we're going to go work on that. But Johnny, man, did you see the economic reports? We had the Fed come out this week. A lot of stuff happened with that. I was so excited to meet you today.
Yeah.
So we could talk about this stuff. Did you see the job report?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's fascinating to watch the numbers that just keep trickling in and dropping on us, but kind of go without any fanfare.
Well, here's the thing that made me so happy. I was so happy about this. Hold on. Oh, I can't believe this. Oh, hold on.
Florida Talk Real Estate is
thank
it.com, your one-stop real estate shop. Know it, use it, love it, share it. Find us on Facebook, YouTube as well. That's Florida Talk Real Estate. We live stream every Saturday for 2 hours of infotainment on both. That's Florida Talk Real Estate on Facebook, YouTube, Florida Talk Real Estate LLC. And always remember, FloridaTalkRealEstate.com, your access to the entire team, your one-stop real estate shop.
Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about this part of it, okay, right now. Remember, I keep saying, how are we going to... Okay, so just to set the foundation, because we're going to talk a little bit about this today, because I find it to be very interesting, okay? So at the end of last year, the economists come out with what they expect is going to happen this year, and what they decided about the Fed rate. The general consensus was that we were going to have 6 to 7 cuts. I'm laughing even as I say it. 6 to 7 cuts by the end of this year, and that the interest rates will be in the 5s, with a 5 in front of it. But they were making it sound more like a low 5, like a 5.2 or 5.1, like that. Okay. And that's what they're predicting. And I've kept, how long have I been saying this? How is that going to work? How does that look? We finally it took us 18 months to 2 years to get from that 9.1 inflation rate that we had all the way down to 2. It took us almost 2 years to get there. And then once we just hit that level, just for a little tiny touch on the ground, you're going to start cutting the rates, which is going to speed up the economy, which is, I would assume, cause higher inflation again and spike inflation. I might be wrong. I'm not an economist, but as a layman, I think that's pretty logical, right?
Mm-hmm.
Am I wrong about that, guys?
No.
Do you? So,
I mean, if what they say the reason for inflation is we were spending too much.
Yeah, overheated
none of that's
economy.
slowed down, by the way. I mean, it just hasn't. So.
No, it hasn't.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. What date did this come out? Oh, it doesn't have the date. Anyway, last week. Oh yeah, January 30th. January 30th. The New York Times comes out with the headline: "Why cut rates in an economy this strong?" A big question confronts the Fed. And then they start talking about how is this going to work? And I was like, have they been listening to our show? Because they're asking exactly what I've been asking. It was a really good read. So if you want this, it's in the New York Times. I found it to be really interesting. I still think this is one of the things that I still am worried about. everybody thinks a lot of people think the Fed is very tied in, especially during the election year. You hear this. This isn't the first election cycle, but many election cycles they've said, "Oh, the Fed's going to do something, to sway the presidency, right? The election, right?" So a lot of people, but Powell has been there under two different administrations, and let me tell you, the last administration, the president was yelling at Powell all the time because he jacked up rates in 2018, and the president didn't like it back then, so they were no friends with each other. And really, Powell hasn't really been a favorite of Biden in a lot of ways either, right? Because raising the Fed rates and raising everybody's credit card debt and everything isn't always a good thing for the president, but it might be a good thing for the national economy, right? So you're going through all that. But what my sneaky thing is this. I'm really worried that the Fed might change the rates, not because he's worried about whether the economy's in good shape or bad shape and changing it for that. But from what I understand is when the Fed raises the rates, they're also raising the rates for our national debt and what we have to pay for our national debt. And that might become a consideration over the actual day-to-day economy because if they can't pay the bill.
Right, more self-serving.
And maybe they'll just print more money like they've always done.
Maybe, really, maybe.
But I still don't. I still don't understand this concept. When we just barely hit the 2% inflation, you're going to turn the spigot back on by reducing the rates. I don't think they're going to drop it in March. I always been saying that since November. They're not doing it in March. We're too strong. Now I just read the last job report. 350,000 new jobs. They thought it was going to be 175,000. They even said, yes, we're having layoffs right now. They're even acknowledging, yes, people are being laid off right now. But they called it a magic market where people being laid off are being absorbed right into a different profession or different job right away.
Right.
So we're not seeing like chronic people sitting around claiming unemployment benefits, right? They're going from one job to another job.
Well, the good thing is that you're seeing a willingness to work.
I was going to say that's
right?
the most important part because, talking to other small business owners, like they can't, they'd be like, nobody wants to work. I can't get, we're hiring. I can't get anybody to fill the position.
Yeah. So seeing a willingness to work is important because I've heard that narrative for a couple of years now. It's just, you hear nobody wants to work and it's like, well, I don't know if nobody wants to work. But there's a lot of open jobs that just are struggling to fill positions. So, something's got to give.
Exactly. And the other thing that happened related to this is the pay increase has increased. So it's been several cycles now. I didn't realize that the pay is actually going faster than the inflation.
That's what they say.
So they're saying that they're saying last year.
Yeah, I'd love to be the man on the street doing a survey.
Don't tell my employees.
They're saying last year. They're saying last year it was almost 5%. It was almost a 5 for the whole year.
Interesting.
So, so this is all very interesting. We are gonna talk more about this on the flip side because there's so much going on with this, and there's the stock market, Wall Street. I don't think is really being realistic of what to expect this year. I really think that they're overinflating everything and being way too optimistic. And I wanted to get into a little bit more of that. A couple other things we're going to talk about is the interest rates, which is going to be connected to that. We're going to get into that. That's kind of interesting. And there might be changing the regulations in Florida for rentals. So I thought that was kind of interesting. We're going to talk a little bit about that. And but on the flip side, we're going to talk about small business owners and some insurance programs. Should I call it that way? Or
well, no, I mean, we yes.
Okay, some insurance programs that we want to talk about with Brightway Insurance, Juno Beach.
Oh, Juno it. We got a lot to get into on this Saturday. Great to have you with us. We offer you up 2 hours of infotainment, and it's phenomenal that you're along for the ride. And you can be a part of the program toll free at 877-927-6969. Questions, comments, concerns in the world of real estate. You want to dive into the conversation we're having, you're more than welcome. Jimothy will line you up. Of course, if you're not comfortable on the radio, I totally understand. Just remember, Florida Talk Real Estate is .com. Your access to the entire team. Your one-stop real estate shop is FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. You got the hotline there as well. You can call it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. We're back in 4 minutes. Great to have you with us every Saturday. Florida Talk Real Estate right here. It's Real Radio.
The bad news, the brain isn't all that great at hearing stuff and remembering it. The good news, you can watch us too. Like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Real Radio 92.1.
For more information about contests on the station, visit realradio921.com/rules.
Real Radio weather.
From the Gordon & Partners Weather Center. Have you been injured in a motor vehicle accident? Call 561-333-3333 or go to fortheinjured.com.
I'm meteorologist Jennifer Collins with CBS 12 News. A cool and comfortable start to the day under a mostly sunny sky. Temperatures will remain near normal this afternoon with highs in the middle 70s. Scattered showers and storms will arrive on Sunday. A few isolated strong storms will be possible, then cooler next week with highs in the 60s.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's. When you think Wendy's Biggie Bag, think your go-to meal deal. Because with your choice of JBC or crispy chicken sandwich, plus 4-piece nugs, junior fries, and a small soft drink, Biggie hits every time. So grab a Wendy's Biggie Bag today. U.S. price and participation may vary. Third-party delivery pricing may be higher.
Hey, it's your boy Johnny C here, host of Florida Talk Real Estate. They're tops when it comes to helping people buy and sell houses. But Florida Talk Real Estate is so much more than that. For 5 years, I've watched these guys help thousands of our listeners with any real estate need. They couldn't do it without their sponsors, who are experts in their fields. Check it out. Jim DePola, powered by Keller Williams Realty. Their team specializes in helping people sell their house for top dollar, and buyers get great deals on the purchase of their home. That's what they did for me and my family, and I couldn't be happier that I hired them for my real estate transaction. Mike Rao from the mortgage firm is one of our favorite guests on the show, and he is the mortgage guy. Whether you're looking for a refi or a mortgage to purchase a new home, Mike Rao will get you the answers you need. The mortgage firm is licensed to do loans in Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, and Georgia, and they have local offices that cover all of South Florida. So if you're thinking about a refi or a new mortgage, go to the mortgage guy, Mike Rao, and find out what he can do for you. The Mortgage Firm, Inc., NMLS 189233, Florida license MLD 78, equal housing lender. The law office of Paul A. Krasker has been specializing in real estate law for nearly 25 years and has the professional team you need. Upside down with your house, Paul's team can help you conduct short sales, loan modifications, even if you're behind on payments. They also help you with foreclosure defense and bankruptcy. They can even help you get a student loan modification and repair your credit to get the score you need. Paul's full-service team has helped thousands of our listeners, and they can help you too. Trident Title LLC is the largest privately owned title company in Florida. When you need a title company to complete a refi, home purchase, or sale, Trident Title has got you covered. Not only do they offer competitive pricing, Trident Title has attorneys on staff to make sure if you have bumps in the road declaring title that you can get the job done. Beware, not all title companies in Florida have attorneys on staff. Trident Title does and complies with all the new federal regulations released last year. Ross Komarinetz, owner of Brightway Insurance, has been helping our listeners get great rates on homeowners insurance plans. Haven't checked your homeowners insurance policy in a while? This is a great way to help reduce your monthly mortgage payment. Ross can also help with renters and auto insurance. Ross is only a phone call away and can usually get the answers you need same day.
Call Ross today at 561-425-6228 or drop by his office at 873 Donald Ross Road in Juno Beach.
So now you know why I'm happy to be part of the Florida Talk Real Estate Show, the longest running real estate show in Florida. And all these sponsors are just a phone call or a click away. Just call 888-973-7828. That's 888-973-7828. Or go to floridatalkrealestate.com. That's floridatalkrealestate.com. And don't forget to use the most accurate search engine to find your new home or ask for a free home valuation because floridatalkrealestate.com has you covered. That's floridatalkrealestate.com.
This is Real Radio 92.1 and 101.7. Real talk for the Palm Beaches and the Treasure Coast. This is Florida Talk Real Estate with Jim DePola and Johnny C. Got a question for the show? Call us live at 1-877-927-6969.
There it is, 877-927-6969. Toll free if you'd like to be a part of the program. We're live on this Saturday. We is me, Johnny C. There's our producer extraordinaire, Jimothy. He'll dial or answer that phone if you dial it up. What's up, my dude?
Hello, and good morning.
Good morning, my brother. Ross Komarinetz is with us on this Saturday. He's with Brightway Insurance, Juno Beach. What's up, Ross?
You know that's right, my man.
Good to see you, buddy.
You too.
Always a pleasure. And, of course, Jimmy D is here. Told you for 12-plus years now. He runs a top-producing Keller Williams team. Keller Williams Innovations. You find the Florida Home Pros team. And my guy, Jimmy D. There's Jim DePola, everybody. How you be?
I'm doing good, everybody. Happy South Florida. I wanted to put a request out there. I'm looking for a new person to join our team. We're looking for what I call a customer care rep.
Yes.
We have thousands of people in our database that we need to be talking to more frequently than we are right now. So we're looking for somebody that would really enjoy doing that for a living. And we're not asking somebody to be a hard salesperson in this job. It's more about reaching out to people and see if they have any needs that we can help them with and get the answers that they need. And then see if there's a way that we can help them.
That's it.
And we want to come from contribution. And as Dan DeMott, who was here, was it last week or the week before last?
2 weeks.
Yes,
before,
my coach, he said to me, you're looking for somebody who says, why would I want to text somebody when I can pick up the phone and call them?
Right.
So that's who I'm looking for. So anybody,
we're also looking for the people who say, why would I want a Dodgers call when I can answer it and see what they want?
Yeah,
that's the tough part.
Yeah,
in
that's
age.
true.
Nobody answers the phone.
So, well, you'd be surprised how many people, well, you wouldn't be surprised, but, I've been making the calls myself a lot lately, and, it's really a good experience, and there's a lot of laughs along the way, and you learn a lot, and you kind of really get a feel of what's happening with the national economy or the zeitgeist. It's really kind of interesting to see what the pulse is going on at that moment.
Yes.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. So anybody that's interested in that job is all you have to do is to go to our website, Florida Talk Real Estate, fill out the contact information form. We'd like to have a copy of your resume. So if you can send that with it, that would be even better. And we'll review it and get back to you as soon as we get that. So please, if anybody is looking for a position like that, give us a call. The other thing I wanted to mention was,
and again, that's floridatalkrealestate.com.
I can't remember the other thing, so I'm going to remember it later. So let's get right into, this talking about the database. So one of the things, Ross, that we've been learning by going into the database really deep now is that we have over 300 small business owners in our database, which I think is awesome. And we're creating deeper connections with those people all the time right now. And one of the things that you offer is insurance products. I want to say programs, insurance products for the small business owners. So what do you have out there that you can help them with?
It's something that we wanted to get into it, or not get into it. It's something that we have always kind of done, on a limited basis, but we wanted to do more of it 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
But 4 years ago, then that's when, we started talking about rate increases, and then the market took off. And, so the last, 4 years, we've just been focused on, doing what, we've always done and not trying to, do anything else that takes a little bit more time. You know what I mean? But we've got some good partnerships with some good carriers for our small business owners, our contractors, general liabilities, good commercial auto, for the, guys driving their trucks around, landscapers, good, business policies for them. So it's something that, we've wanted to kind of transition into, and now that things have really slowed down, we're starting to bring on more of that business. And, I got a great guy in the office that, he's been chomping at the bit to get after it, and or champing at the bit, I should say, to get after it. And we've had some really good success. And, I know there's a lot of, contractors and things and small business owners that listen to this radio station, and we would just love to be able to help them too.
Yeah, I think that would be awesome. And one of the things, if you're a small business owner, you're going to get the same results from Ross and his team as you would get if you were doing residential deals. So he's going to give you advice, not just say, here's a policy, blah, blah, blah. Think of what Ross just explained in the last segment right before the
And
commercial break.
we came across that in a commercial deal, 2 weeks ago. So
Really? So you saw that they were cutting corners, if you will, and
I
they
mean,
didn't really
the
understand what they were
policy
buying?
that they had was just a piece of paper, basically.
Mhm.
We were able to point out, like, hey, this. It wasn't. They didn't get something alternate than we did. It was what they already had, and we were able to look at it and point it out, and also save them a little bit of money. So
I always laugh when I used to be a full-time flipper, and you would talk to this one guy. I use the example, but I use the example for everybody. But this one guy, I asked if he was licensed and insured, and he said yes. And he comes to the house and he's doing the takeoff for all the stuff that's being done. And I'm thinking, okay, this is working out. So he said, you got to give me a copy of your insurance and your paperwork and your licensing. So he gives me a driver's license and car insurance. He's licensed and insured. I'm like, no, that's not licensed and insured. I got licensed and I'm insured for something.
Oh, you were not very specific. Yeah.
Oh, that kind of
He didn't
insurance.
lie.
Oh, that kind of
He
insurance.
didn't lie.
So yeah, so all you have to do, Ross, how complicated it would be for people like in our database, like they do it all the time, right? They just say, hey, I need an insurance quote. What would happen if it's a small business owner saying, I have questions too? We don't just give an address like we normally do. We just give them your number and then you'll have a conversation
or,
with them.
hey, can you reach out to us, or they can call our office or shoot us an email. Can you reach out to us? We'll schedule a time, get on the phone. And, the information that we need, they're going to know. It's a little bit more than, hey, what's your address? But that information and they'll know it or be able to put their hands on it. And they've done it before. It's not something that's new, or, it's probably something that they're pretty familiar with.
Has that insurance, like those kind of insurance products, been going up like everything else?
No, I mean, not as bad. Those, one of the reasons that we've kind of wanted to, move over and get back into offering that is that those carriers are profitable. So they're able to offer competitive. They actually came to us and said, we want more business. And, we've got some good like with some major carriers that have kind of come to us and want us to write more business through them, and are making it not only very competitive, but very easy for us and very easy for the insured, because it's a good segment. They're not experiencing the fraudulent roof claims and things like that. So that's actually a good segment for their book of business. And so they just want as much as we can give them. So
I didn't, it just popped into my head, so I'm going to say it, but I'm with one of those morning network groups, if you will, in Palm Beach Gardens. And it just dawned on me that they don't have an insurance one for this slot. If you want to come to our group, we could do the group, because he's asking for more members, the person that organizes it. I don't know if you're into that, but there's a lot of small business owners there.
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
Might be able to,
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. It's so important to get the right stuff to do it. I know when I talked to Jared Perry from the Perry CPA group, sometimes people don't have the right. He talks to me as a realtor about the right kind of insurance you should have and things like that to make sure that you're covered. Really important. So if you're a small business owner and you want to get a quote, and let me ask you this, is it the same thing like house insurance, where once you get in with the insurance company, a lot of people, they just let it renew automatically unless there's a problem. They don't think about it. Is it like that with the small business owners?
It's even more that, because I mean, as a small business owner, you're doing a million different things.
Tell me about it.
And you're not, hey, it comes out, it's just a business expense, so that's mostly a set it and forget it. So, unless there's a problem. Then they have to pay attention.
So getting a insurance checkup, if you will, is really valuable to a lot of people, right? Because they haven't looked at it for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You got to take advantage of this. Awesome.
Yep.
And then how much is it to do this, Ross? Which I
mean, it's not that much. It between, having to prepare the quote and get all the documents and the time we spent, it really cost probably Nothing.
Right.
You know,
exactly.
It's zero.
You have to have a
It
coupon or
costs
something?
nothing to find
Yeah,
out.
there's a Groupon for. Yeah, no, I mean, it's funny because in my office we just love to quote insurance.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? If we, are able to do something better or whatever and get your business, that's awesome. We love that, but we just have fun. We do so many quotes and talking to people about it and educating them, and like I always tell people, it's not about selling a policy. It's about talking to people and educating people, and by doing that, the policies will show up.
Right. They just they come out
because we tell people
organically.
all
It
the time,
happens.
like, hey, so
Yeah.
go, we don't want your business, because
Yeah,
you
it
already
happens.
have the best, and
Mhm.
I do this, and it'll
Can't
be
help
better.
you.
Yeah.
Right. Can't help you right now. So that, we used to, when you were able to do this, help people save thousands and thousands on their insurance policies for residential by using gap insurance. And when insurance rates were going down and people weren't realizing it, Ross was the canary in the coal man going, hey, look at your policy again. You might be able to save money. Then
Mhm.
things got tight and now we're in the crisis mode. But Ross can do the same thing for small business owners. And what a great way to help save money in your business. Everybody right now is trying to figure out ways to shave costs. At least that's what we're being taught in the real estate business. All the gurus are saying, shave your costs, remain lean and mean. This is a really great way to do it with a reputable person that's going to give you the real information so that you have the best information to make the best informed decisions. So got to call Brightway Insurance, Juno Beach, the only one. And how you can do it, just call 888-973-7828 or go to our Florida Talk Real Estate page.
That's it, floridatalkrealestate.com, and you'll find the hotline there as well. That's floridatalkrealestate.com. And you're always welcome to join us Saturday while we're live on the radio, 877-927-6969. If you do got a question, comment, you want to dive into the conversation, don't be shy. 877-927-6969.
So getting back to the economy, guys, for a second, I thought, 3 months ago, everybody's like, oh, the recession's coming. Listen to this economy quote. I think everyone is surprised at the strength of the economy, right? Says this independent economics consultant. It's almost like a pinch me scenario. So we went from doom and gloom, we're going to have a recession, we just don't know when it's going to hit, to like we're in a pinch me economy, right?
The soft landing term was being thrown around for a long time, right? Did we have a soft land? Did it happen?
Well, we won't know. It's kind of like the peak. You don't know until you look back and go, oh, that was the peak. So right now they're saying if this is the worst it's going to get, as good as it gets, if this is going to be the worst of the worst,
pretty soft landing,
then we actually had a soft landing for sure. It might even be less than a soft landing. You know what I mean? It's like,
was that touch and go?
Yeah, it's just like
touch and go.
It's pretty crazy.
You can tell that this pilot was an Air Force pilot. Yeah, this ain't a Navy guy.
Now,
He's not dropping
and he greased it.
Yeah. And you can always point out certain things in any economy. No matter every economy is going to have some high points and some low points in it, and you can point to anything you want.
Sure.
But overall, the general economy, even the people that have been complaining about like Jamie Dimon from Citibank or whatever, JP Morgan Chase or whatever, I forget which he's with. But Jamie Dimon's been talking about economic crash or at least a recession. I don't want to exaggerate, but a serious recession for like 3 years.
Clickbaity.
Yeah, and the whole thing is we're not seeing it, and there was nothing on the horizon now. That doesn't mean it can't change tomorrow,
Sure.
But right now. And then here's where the jobs market report was so surprising. I was looking at this also in the Times. Headline says job market starts 2024 with a bang, right? 353,000 jobs added, right? And far exceeding, they thought it was going to be about 175,000 jobs. Now, this month, this January, there was only one other month in the last 12 months that had higher employment than January 2024, and that was January 2023. In January 2023, there were over 450,000 jobs created that month. So we're down from there, but we're still super strong. Now, last month, we were almost at I think we're almost at 350. We're like 335, right? So we're at 353 right now. So where are the jobs coming from? 75,000 of those jobs are coming in white collar jobs, like professional. They call it the professional sector. So those are usually good paying jobs. And then 70,000 of them, 70,000 came from healthcare, which is kind of similar, kind of expected. And then the major sector, the only major sector that had cut of workers, layoffs was mining and logging, right? So that was really the only thing that was really, really bad. And the service industry, like waitressing jobs, that kind of stuff, that kind of service industry, that was a little flat. But the better paying jobs were stronger. I don't know if you remember, but in the past we've seen like the service industry jobs being stronger than the professional jobs, but now it's kind of flopped. The other thing they're saying is that we're getting paid more per hour. However, they felt that January people worked less hours than they did a year ago. So some of that wage increase is because they're working less hours, not because they're making more money. So I thought that was all kind of interesting. And they say they don't see anything on the horizon that is going to slow this juggernaut down. So tell me, where does the interest rates come in? Right?
Yeah.
Where do the interest rates cuts come in this? I just don't see it.
I don't know how.
I
or
don't
why.
see it either. Yeah. So this is what I predict is going to happen.
And self-servingly, we all would love that, right? We all
Yeah,
want
I
to
would
pay
love
as
it. I
little as
want it so
possible. Yeah,
bad.
it'd be great. It's just from a collective we as a nation and a positioning for our financial future. It doesn't feel like something we should be doing.
Well, if you want those low interest rates, are you okay with 9.1% inflation? So, pick your poison, right? Do you want to pay the higher interest rates, or do you want to?
Well, the inflationary numbers are always fascinating because, if you're out there shopping on the regular, I don't know if you agree with the sense that that's come down 7%. I just don't know that anybody would be like, yeah, I see it. I feel it. I just don't. The inflation number is always a little wonky anyway.
Didn't the administration blame the grocery stores for the high prices recently?
I didn't hear that. That's funny. That's funny. What did they? Do you remember the quote or whatever?
It wasn't inflation. It was the greed.
I don't know. It was
which was what we were all saying.
Corporate.
Damn it, Publix!
Pretty
Right,
sure we
you
said that
bastards!
Yeah,
right.
They're gonna work with the grocery stores to reduce the prices.
Oh,
that's what I read somewhere.
Oh, they're gonna work with the grocery
saying,
stores.
like hammer the grocery stores.
Oh,
it was that like they were the culprits.
Right.
That's what I had read. But
I like
can't believe
everybody
everything
likes
read.
small government until they don't. You know what I mean? Everybody wants small government until they don't, right? And then when it steps on your toes, government's got to do something about that. They got to do something about that. You got to love it. But I understand where people are saying about the prices still haven't flattened out to where they were, but could we make the argument that the prices were too low back then and we're basing everything on prices that were too low?
Yes.
Because we had a supply chain problem and we were stuck in our houses for 18 months and we weren't doing a lot of stuff we normally did. So things, the prices were not reflective of a real reality. It was like bizarro world. We lived in bizarro world for 2 years.
That's fair.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but
it's a fair element.
I just feel like people don't know what a good economy is. When I ask people, and I do this now, right? And I'm not arguing with them because my opinion doesn't matter any more than their opinion does. We're equal opinion. But I'd say to them, because I really want to know, well, what would it look like if you had a good economy? What would be different than right now? Because, right now we're expecting like cars to become less expensive, right? Because like what I'm hearing, I've already had a couple people buying used cars. The used car, and I have a couple people in our database that are car salesmen. And they're really jonesing right now. They're in a bad market, and we expect the prices to come down on that, right? Well,
you're going to see it in the next couple of months.
And yeah, exactly.
It's happening already.
But during the quote good economy, where people say like 6 years ago was a better economy than today, which I don't agree with at all. Okay, I think there were some better parts and some worse parts than today, but overall, I don't really see a lot of difference. Maybe this is just me, but over the 6 years, I don't really see a big difference between 6 years ago and today as far as feeling like whether the economy is going to crash or not crash, like worrying about like the next 2009. We were worried about that for so long, but I just don't see any of that. And our unemployment is super low. Our foreclosure rate is non-existent, pretty much. We are seeing signs that, student loans are coming back to haunt everybody. I think that's a big drag. I think a lot of people are bummed out where they were paying $400 or $500 a month on their student loans. And all of a sudden now it's come back to rear their ugly head. That's a big deal, right? Yeah, but that is easily solvable. I had a guy yesterday or 2 days ago. He called because a friend told him to call from the show. This poor guy, firefighter, he went and put a down payment on a house in Miami, new construction, got it approved. They delayed the construction for a month or two. In the meantime, the wife's job changed dramatically and they could not close on the place in Miami, losing tens of thousands of dollars. But we got them in Nebraska. I don't know if they're going to be able to do anything, but tens of thousands of dollars deposits probably going to go away. They're probably going to sell it for more than what he contracted it for, and they're going to keep his deposit.
Ouch.
And he doesn't really have, they gave him a week to find another buyer to replace him, right? They gave him like 7 days. Say, if you find another buyer to replace your deal, we'll let you go. But they only gave him a week, right? That wasn't very much time. But so we started talking, found out that the wife has massive student loan debt. She's a healthcare worker, never used any of the programs, Johnny. So I'm like, look, I know this really stinks. I don't think you're going to be able to do anything on the house. We'll get you to Crasser. I'll keep my fingers crossed. But we are going to be able to help you with that student loan debt. And it's a significant payment to them. So we're probably going to save them $7,000, $8,000. They don't know it yet, but we're probably going to save them $7,000 or $8,000 a year in mortgage and student loan payments from this program. So yeah. So anybody with student loan debt, that program's still out there. You don't have to, the stuff you're reading in the papers, all this stuff they want to do, what the president wants to do, what the Congress doesn't want them to do, all of that stuff. I know he just signed an executive order to release like $5 billion of the debt, but this program's been here since 2009 and it works.
It sure has, and it really does. It changes numbers big time for a lot of people, and it's free to find out. And it just requires you to be involved, answer some questions, and then once you kind of verify everything, you can be locked in. You can call your servicer, and they'll try to position the conversation and be like, "Oh, we can do all that for you." Results will vary greatly. Go to FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. Let's get you connected with the law office of Paulie Krasker. They are really, really, really doing a wonderful service for a long time, helping people with that student loan debt. That's FloridaTalkRealEstate.com.
Yes, thank you so much. On the flip side, we are going to talk about the new language that's being created in Florida.
Oh,
did you know that there's a new language in Florida? I didn't know.
Can't wait to find out.
Oh boy.
So we're a melting pot.
Yes, we are. Well, this should be interesting. Are you starting to learn it already?
I can't even learn Spanish. You think I
is it on Babbel? Can I
I don't know. This one isn't on Babbel.
Or is that a stone? Call that up.
We still got a lot to get into. Another full hour for you remaining on a Saturday. 2 hours of infotainment is what we offer up, and we're at the halfway point. You're welcome to be a part of the program. Toll free at 877-927-6969. If you're not comfortable on the radio, I totally get it. You have access to the entire team at FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. Your one-stop real estate shop. It's FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. We're back in 4 minutes. Florida Talk Real Estate right here. It's Real Radio.
What's a Real Radio podcast? It's Real Radio on demand. Find your favorite show at realradio921.com.
Hey, it's your boy Johnny C here, host of Florida Talk Real Estate. They're tops when it comes to helping people buy and sell houses. But Florida Talk Real Estate is so much more than that. For 5 years, I've watched these guys help thousands of our listeners with any real estate need. They couldn't do it without their sponsors, who are experts in their fields. Check it out. Jim DePola, powered by Keller Williams Realty. Their team specializes in helping people sell their house for top dollar, and buyers get great deals on the purchase of their home. That's what they did for me and my family, and I couldn't be happier that I hired them for my real estate transaction. Mike Rao from the mortgage firm is one of our favorite guests on the show, and he is the mortgage guy. Whether you're looking for a refi or a mortgage to purchase a new home, Mike Rao will get you the answers you need. The mortgage firm is licensed to do loans in Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, and Georgia, and they have local offices that cover all of South Florida. So if you're thinking about a refi or a new mortgage, go to the mortgage guy, Mike Rao, and find out what he can do for you. The Mortgage Firm, Inc., NMLS 189233, Florida license MLD 78, equal housing lender. The law office of Paul A. Krasker has been specializing in real estate law for nearly 25 years and has the professional team you need. Upside down with your house, Paul's team can help you conduct short sales, loan modifications, even if you're behind on payments. They also help you with foreclosure defense and bankruptcy. They can even help you get a student loan modification and repair your credit to get the score you need. Paul's full service team has helped thousands of our listeners, and they can help you too. Trident Title LLC is the largest privately owned title company in Florida. When you need a title company to complete a refi, home purchase, or sale, Trident Title has got you covered. Not only do they offer competitive pricing, Trident Title has attorneys on staff to make sure if you have bumps in the road declaring title that you can get the job done. Beware, not all title companies in Florida have attorneys on staff. Trident Title does and complies with all the new federal regulations released last year. Ross Komarinetz, owner of Brightway Insurance, has been helping our listeners get great rates on homeowners insurance plans. Haven't checked your homeowners insurance policy in a while? This is a great way to help reduce your monthly mortgage payment. Ross can also help with renters and auto insurance. Ross is only a phone call away and can usually get the answers you need same day.
Call Ross today at 561-425-6228 or drop by his office at 873 Donald Ross Road in Juno Beach.
So now you know why I'm happy to be part of the Florida Talk Real Estate Show, the longest running real estate show in Florida. And all these sponsors are just a phone call or a click away. Just call 888-973-7828. That's 888-973-7828. Or go to floridatalkrealestate.com. That's floridatalkrealestate.com. And don't forget to use the most accurate search engine to find your new home or ask for a free home valuation because floridatalkrealestate.com has you covered. That's floridatalkrealestate.com.
The Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys Studios.
Have you been in an accident? Call Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys at 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
Real Radio 92.1 is WZZR West Palm Beach, an iHeartRadio station.
Listen on your free iHeartRadio app for all your music, radio, and podcasts. Free never sounded so good. This is Florida Talk Real Estate with Jim DePola and Johnny C. Got a question for the show? Call us live at 1-877-927-6969.
Welcome back to Florida Talk Real Estate here on Real Radio 92.1 and 101.7 up on the Treasure Coast. Always a pleasure to have you here with us on a Saturday for 2 hours of infotainment. And there's my man Johnny C sitting down, and he can take over the reins. What's going on, buddy?
Look at the kick saving beauty by Jimothy over here.
That hasn't happened in a while.
We're all just in the studio, just chatting it up,
out.
and all of a sudden I hear Jimothy talking. I'm like, oh, Jimothy's he's paying attention. That's good.
Wait,
Eating donuts.
Glad he is.
Are we live?
We're live.
No way.
Yeah, it's happening.
It's Memorex.
All right. Thankfully, we got one guy at least paying attention today. Thank you, Jimothy, very much.
That's so funny.
Always a pleasure.
Kick saving a beauty. Johnny C, that's me. Jimothy is our producer extraordinaire. If you ever wondered why we say that, there's a good glimpse.
Yeah, there you go.
Just a quick little look. That's just one brief example.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. Ross Komarinetz is with us on this Saturday. He's with Brightway Insurance, Juno Beach. What's up, Ross?
Not a whole lot, man. I can't believe they had a keg out there. Caught off guard.
This place is awesome.
You're welcome.
Jimmy D's here on this Saturday. As always, 12 plus years now, I've told you he runs a top producing Keller Williams team. Keller Williams Innovations. You find the Florida Home Pros team. There's Jimmy D. Jim DePola, how you be?
Thank you. We're going to be we're going to talk a little bit about like the melting pot of South Florida, which I've always loved. I like the idea of all these different cultures mixing in here. Sometimes it's a powder keg, sometimes it's a love fest. Who cares? It's all different all the time. love South Florida for that. But now, apparently, these linguists down here in South Florida have been studying and found out that there's a new dialect in South Florida called Miami English that's appearing in Florida, which is not the same as
Spanglish.
Not the same, right? That's what they're saying in here. So I thought this is kind of interesting
Miami
story.
English.
Now this
not
is
the same as Spanglish.
not the same as Spanglish. So this is coming from the New York Post. So it isn't even Florida people talking about it. It was like New Yorkers talking about us down here.
Okay.
You know, us down here doing our stuff. So they think that Miami English is becoming more and more common, especially in Miami area. And it's
Wait,
reached
do they speak English in Miami?
Miami
sometimes
English.
no, exactly. I've been down there, and sometimes the answer is definitely no. If I'm lost, there's no English down
I remember being down there. I was down there visiting a friend, and we were at the gas station. I'm like 11 years old at a gas station, and there was a guy there, and I think I asked him like, "Hey, where's the bathroom?" And this is when I was 10 years old. He goes, "Do you not speak Spanish?" I go, "No." He goes, "You don't belong here."
Exactly. Right.
What are you doing here, boy?
Okay, where's
You're
the bathroom?
So that's how you learn Spanish curse words. Is that when you start learning? Okay, I'm going to learn Spanish, right? So Miami English is based from 1950s Cuban heritage, right? So when the Cubans came over here, but and there's other parts of the country where this has happened, where you mix the English with Spanish. But what makes this different than Spanglish, apparently, is that the words that are being used now are called calque, Calque. This is the type of words process they're using.
Okay.
So let me tell you, because I had to look it up in a dictionary because I still don't understand what a calque is, even as I'm reading this. So calque is... Hold on, I'm sorry, bear with me.
So the difference between, that's not Spanglish, is it kind of like French and Italian and Spanish? They're very similar, but different languages. It's
Same,
about
but
our
very
Spanglish
different,
and
yeah.
Miami English.
It's more about like
Minglish, Minglish.
It's more about word. It's more about verb tense, I guess, or verb tense. So let me give you a couple examples, because I'm not giving examples so you guys don't really kind of know. So the examples would be, I'm looking at it. Boy, I stink at this. Where
I'm gonna
is
ask
it? Hold on.
ChatGPT if it
Yeah,
can
what
give
the heck
me
is
some,
going on? Maybe
some,
I made
passages in
hold on.
Miami.
Oh, here it
English.
is. Okay. So you know how you say, and these are the things that they're calling Miami English. You know how you say, if you're saying, "Hey, me and my buddies got out of the car," the literal translation would be, and they would say this in English, "We got down from the car." And the reason why they're saying "we got down from the car" instead of "we got out of the car" is because in Spanish you would say "baja del carro," which I guess, down the car. So they say it in English, "we got down the car from the car." So so they're taking the literal translation of Spanish, but using the English word for it. That's what a calque is.
Well, I would say that's just not learning the language.
Yeah, I would too. I would
like
say
if we went
dumbing it
to
down.
It's
France and started not using their language correctly, they wouldn't go, "Oh, they're just creating a new language." They'd go, "No, speak French."
No, you're just doing it wrong. Is what you're
well, and here's another example of that. Instead of saying "I got into the line to pay for the groceries," they would say in English, "I made the line to go to the groceries." Because in Spanish, it's more about when you're going into a line, the verb tense is hacer, Hacer, which is to make, right? Not to get into. So instead of get into a line, you're making the line. Right?
No, you
That's
nailed it,
just
Ross.
called-
You totally nailed it. They're just flat out. It's not a new language. They're just flat out. It's like, we're just gonna do it our way.
Yeah, we're just not gonna try.
Well, here's
like,
another
'cause-
one. You don't throw a birthday party for someone. You don't throw a birthday party for someone. You made a birthday party to celebrate for someone. So
Okay.
they'll say,
That's not bad.
I like
"We
that
made
one.
them," right?
Yeah.
Another one would be Marco and I went to a bar and he invited me a beer. right?
Invited me a beer.
Invited me a beer. Invite is commonly carried over into English by Spanish speakers to substitute for buying someone a beer or a coffee. Instead of buying someone a beer, you're inviting them for a beer. Right.
But
So-
that's,
that's
I mean, if you're going to meet somebody for a beer, you're always inviting them. But once you get there,
You have to buy it.
you have to purchase it.
Yeah.
And you should use
But
the
I think
correct
what you're
verb
doing
for
is if you're
purchasing.
buying them a beer, you're inviting them to have a beer with you. I think that's the concept. And you're inviting somebody to have a beer with you.
That's
Right.
what? Cerveza?
Yeah.
I
I
don't
know
e- I
that
don't
one.
even know if
That one I know.
That may not even be the right
Tequila
one.
cerveza. That's
the
it.
one Spanish word I know. Shocker.
Well, I told you what happened when I went to Costa Rica that time, right?
What's happened?
I went to Costa Rica. I was supposed to go on this horseback riding trip to go to these waterfalls, right? Now we're in like one of the really small towns. It wasn't like San Jose or something. We're really out there.
They got the colones there, right?
Yeah, Colones. Yep. And we were going to all these little, and I say all of these, there were very few of them, but we kept stopping by. We're driving all over and we can't find where this farm is to get to the horses so we could drive. So I'm driving around. The other person I'm with doesn't speak any Spanish. I have a little bit of Spanish from high school, but no way, right? And I'm running around and I'm asking everybody, where are the horses? Because I didn't know what else to say. And I'm saying in Spanish, and I'm like, where are the horses? Where are the horses? And
Caballeros?
everybody's looking at me like I'm crazy, right? Totally crazy. But back then, I don't know, maybe it's still the same, but Costa Ricans were like that anyway. Like if you don't nail the dialect, they act like you don't know what you're talking about. So if you give them broken speak English, they're not really, they
They're
don't
just not
work.
gonna play
Kind
along.
of like the French, from what I understand. I've never been to French, but I hear the French are like that. If you don't like talk perfectly, then they make fun of you and don't want to deal with you. It's like, get out of here, you scum, right?
Good thing we don't do that in Miami, huh?
Instead we just change the words. We just start changing the words. So anyway, I'm running around asking everybody, where are the horses? Where are the horses? Nobody would help me, and everybody made it look like I was crazy. Finally found it, went on the trip, did the thing, come back 2 weeks later from the vacation. I'm listening to NPR down here, just listen to NPR for whatever. And they started talking about Spanish and Spanish terms and everything. And I found out I wasn't asking everybody where the horses were. That's why everybody was looking at me like crazy.
Yeah.
I was saying, where are the gentlemen cowboys? Instead of saying caballos, I was saying caballeros.
That's what I thought. Horses
And
were
in
caballeros.
Costa Rica, caballeros is more like a slang for homosexuality.
Yeah, you're like.
So
I want
I'm
some
running
man on
around
man.
asking all these people, where are the caballeros? Where are the caballeros?
Let's go.
Everybody's looking at me. He's
They
like,
keep
what?
telling me to go to this place called the Painted Rooster.
So that's my linguist expertise.
I won't let that go, Ross. That was good.
Fantastic.
And so anyway, this is
Painted
supposed to going to
rooster.
take Painted Rooster.
I'm opening a business. I would have called it the Painted Rooster.
Well, it's
Doesn't
funny
matter
that you
what it
said
is.
the Painted Rooster, because where I got married was I got married in Key West. That was a honeymoon thing. And when I got married in Key West, we got married at a old brothel that was built in the 1800s in Key West, and it was called the Red Rooster. And that's where I got married, is at the Red Rooster. So you're pretty close, Painted Rooster.
Nice.
Not like I've ever been to one or something.
Not that anything's wrong with that either.
No.
So, but
Not those two
anyway,
times
By the way,
in
Ross,
college.
can you stay after the show a little bit? I have some questions for you.
so this Calcase stuff is coming to Florida, and it's been entrenched, and it's going to get more and more. So, 50
boy.
years from now, we're not even going to be talking the same way down here. We're going to sound like that patois from Louisiana, right? We're going to
I
start
love a
having that.
good hard Louisiana.
Yeah, it's cool. I
Cajun
like it
accent.
too.
I like it.
I like it too. Me too. I like that. It's pretty cool. Let me see.
877-927-6969. You're more than welcome to call in. Just try to make sure we can understand you if possible. FloridaTalkRealEstate.com is your one-stop real estate shop as well. Always remember that is your access to the entire team. That's FloridaTalkRealEstate.com.
I would love some calls with questions in Miami English just to see if we can
Oh, that would
answer
be
them.
fun. That would be fun.
answer
Yeah.
them back in Miami English.
Give me some Calque.
Yeah.
Call in with some Calque. So I wanted to get into interest rates really quick and talk about an article I thought was kind of interesting. That was, I think, in the Sentinel today when I was coming down here. Mortgage rates dipped again this week. We're at 669 last week. We're at 663 this week. There's no real difference in that. So it's flat pretty much. You might save 52 cents on your mortgage from this drop from last week.
That's what I was waiting on.
Yep, there you
in.
go. Yep. So
Now you go pull the trigger.
There it is.
there it goes.
There's
That's
the
I'm ready.
number.
So interest rates are holding tight, which is a good thing. We expect that over the long run, they probably will start going down. We're not expecting them to go up. That's pretty much for sure. When I say up, if it's going to go up 0.1 or 0.15 over a couple weeks, that's really to
Call
me
that
not
flat.
See,
Yeah,
as
that's
you
kind
say
of
that,
flat.
there's a whole segment of people that are like, well, now I got to wait for it to go down.
Well,
And
we're going to talk a little bit about that. Okay, so this ties into the Sunset article where they asked a bunch of realtors and economists local, do you think it's a good time to buy or is it a better time to rent? And I always get very interested in this because I usually don't agree with what the local economists are doing down here, like from FIU and FAU, from the local universities. So I want to get them on the air because I want to have a talk with them about this. But they keep doing these analysis where they feel that our market, you're better off renting than owning. And they have all, they're economists. So they go through every single factor you can think of. And if this and then that and this. And I know they're doing really good work and research. But the end result, what spits out at the end result of their research, I just don't agree with most of the time. Think about it. I remember 5 years ago, they said it was better to rent than to buy. Okay. How much has the rent gone up in 5 years? And how much price appreciation would have got on the house that you bought 5 years ago?
Yeah.
Right. So I don't understand that disconnect. And I would love to ask an economist that. Not that I'm angry about it. I'm just inquisitive to say, how can you tell somebody from 5 years ago, when they were paying $1,800 a month in rent, and now they're probably paying $2,500 for the same house or more, right, for the same place. Or they could have bought in 2018 when the median home value was $350, and now it's $600. So I don't understand the disconnect between that. Now, if you're not going to stay in a house for at least 5 years, that might not be a good time to rent. A good time to buy. But I thought that was kind of interesting about how they determine that. And even the realtor in the paper said that the realtor sounded pretty knowledgeable. They asked, they said when they sat down with somebody who isn't sure, they ask a whole bunch of different questions. And a lot of the questions I would ask too. So for example, if you had how much could you afford for rent? If you had that payment for a house, would you be struggling and eating ramen noodles every day just to keep it going? Or would you have, comfort there and affordability there where you could do other stuff?
Yeah, you house poor.
Yeah. Do you have the down payment, right? All of that kind of stuff. I think a lot of people over the last several years, because we went through such a bad traumatic crisis in 2009, 2010, when all that crash happened, that is so deep in our DNA now, right? That people are so worried that that's going to happen again. And that was like, knocking on wood here. But historically, if you go back, it's once in a generation lifetime. The last time we had anything like 2009 was the Great Depression. And
Jimmy, you remember that?
do you remember the Great? Yeah, you remember that, right?
Like it was yesterday, Ross.
Yeah. So, but people still think it's right around the corner. It's going to happen, and it's kind of like what they were saying about the recession. We've worried the economists for so long have been predicting a recession that people that actually worry about recession, people that worry about a recession, they had 4 years of worrying about something that never happened. Right? Think about that. Think of all the angst and anxiety that people put into that.
I just think worrying about something that you can't
Right.
physically control is one of the most futile exercises anyway. And if you're really concerned about it, just try to position yourself to ride it out. But to spend a minute worrying about that stuff on any day is, come on, there's got to be something else you can be thinking about.
Or
It just has to be.
or thinking that you're gonna like predict what's gonna happen in the future, like you're the great Houdini or something or whatever. The great
You gotta live for right now. Right now is
Yeah.
called the present because it's a gift. You're not promised the next moment. So yeah, I don't know. It's fascinating how people live sometimes.
Yeah, and they don't look at the bigger picture. But anyway, I know that we have a call.
We do,
right?
yeah.
We're sorry.
Our buddy JR is checking in with us. JR, welcome to Florida Talk Real Estate.
What's up, dude?
Good morning, gentlemen.
Hey, good morning.
Hey, JR, how's it going, man? Are you done packing?
Well, believe it or not, this has been a pretty fast year. We got the container coming over on Thursday.
Wow, that's
back
awesome.
up the house, and then we did the pre-closing with Trident on Friday.
Did not know that. I was running around like a nut. Congratulations. Sorry.
Tuesday. I'm sorry, Tuesday. We got it. Wow. And Trident, unbelievable, great people, just so smooth. So we got the container coming Thursday, and Maggie will be leaving the 15th, and I will be leaving the 28th.
Wow.
I was wondering about that. So who's taking the dogs?
Maggie.
Maggie's taking the dogs. So how many? It's five dogs?
No, 4 dogs, 1 cat.
4 dogs and 1 cat. So they're moving to Ireland.
Yeah, they are.
So
They don't
they're
even know it
taking the
yet.
dogs and the
Yeah.
cat to Ireland. That's pretty cool to me.
Isn't that a pretty big process to bring your animal?
Yes, apparently. Maggie's been telling me about it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Expensive too.
Like quarantines and whatnots? No, I don't know.
No quarantines anymore. No, they just get their shots and everything here, their microchips, and then when they get over, they just get checked out by a vet, and then they're released. And she's got to fly into Dublin, and then they're going to drive from Dublin over to Shannon, is where we're going to be living.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pretty easy. I can't say it's an easy process because she's been doing this for almost a year now. So she's been doing all the paperwork and all the homework, and we got the vets coming over here today to the house, and they're going to be checking out the dogs for the final paperwork, and then we go from there.
I just think it's funny. You put the microchips in. It's like the air tags you put in your bags.
Yeah.
That way, if they lose the dogs, we know where they are.
That's it. I want to make sure I know where my dog is at all times. But I just want to thank you guys. For making this process so smooth. If anybody's listening, definitely go with this team because I couldn't have asked for more. I asked you guys March of last year, and here it is coming up to March of this year, and everything is going so smooth. We didn't have one hiccup in the whole year.
And you guys were awesome. They did everything that we asked them to do as far as the staging. It wasn't that bad anyway because they keep such a great house, but they did everything that we asked them to do. One of the things was we asked them to take out the dining room table. Remember that, guys?
Yeah,
And so that was kind of a bummer for them because they didn't have they had another table that they could use, but they didn't have the dining room table anymore.
Yeah.
And it was smart to do that, I think, because that opened up the living room. They have a smaller living room.
Even bigger. Yeah.
So for the photos, it came out well. We got great results on the marketing.
Nice.
And Maggie and JR were really smart about pricing it right because we're at the higher interest rates when you were going under the contract. So we were dealing with the high interest rates, and we're very sensitive interest rates right now. When we went up the week before last, we went up like 0.03 or something. I read that 7% drop in mortgage applications.
Jeez.
From that small amount. Yeah. So we're very sensitive with the mortgages.
Yeah.
Yeah. So JR, I'm so excited for you guys to go out there. I know it's been a dream for you guys to get out there and move to Ireland. I can't wait till I talk to you someday and you got the Irish brogue. That's gonna make me laugh so funny.
This is going to be an Italian in Ireland under the witness protection program.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. And maybe you can do a calque in Ireland and start giving them English stuff for the Irish.
You damn straight will do it. Hey guys, I just want to thank you again very much for all you've done for us.
Thank you so much. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, super excited for you guys. Congratulations, bud.
Good luck, JR.
Yes, indeed. That's awesome. Great to hear the success stories. We get shout outs every week, but it's nice to hear the excitement in the voices of the people. I know you get to hear it all the time, Jim, but it's cool for us.
It's so cool. And they're just a great couple. And I'm really looking forward to having their adventure that's happening right now for them.
So cool.
And man, they had, remember when I told you that they were in the process of moving and the shelf fell over and then they had to take Maggie to the hospital because she
Right.
had stitches, and then
Oh.
JR fell and he had stitches, and the move was hell for them. So I'm glad that everything's going good.
They
for
got
them
war
right now.
wounds, that's for sure.
I don't remember if did he mention on air, because I know we talked about it off air one day when he was calling in like that, and he mentioned I think something along the lines of when they go over there, they pay an initial property tax up front, one time deal. That's it. It's the only time you pay property tax.
Wow.
And but I mean, it's a big chunk, it's a big number, but that's it. Then you don't have a recurring every annual type thing. It doesn't raise apparently.
Wait,
It's the way
didn't we
they
leave
do it
there
over
because
there.
of the taxes?
I'm sorry.
I said, didn't we leave there because of the taxes? Now they got
Yeah, right. They're better than us.
tax system. We might have to go back.
Yeah. Maybe taxation with representations is probably a good thing. Maybe we should go back to that, right? So anyway, that was a really great phone call. I just wanted to say something else. My birthday was last week or something, and I had some family issues. So anybody reached out to me for my birthday this year, just want to say thank you. And that I didn't have a chance. I was starting to respond to everybody, and then we had a little thing.
You had a little bit going on.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but thank God everything's looking pretty good right now. But just wanted to say, if I ignored you, I apologize. But it wasn't ignoring you. I had some stuff going on. I'm actually going to spend today going back, and I know it's just Facebook, and I'm doing it because people make the effort. Yeah, I'm going to make up. I feel bad for everybody. So thank you for everything. Let me see here.
Florida Talk Real Estate is .com, your one-stop real estate shop. Of course, you're welcome to be a part of the program. You want to do a little reset?
Yeah. Oh, that would be the perfect. On the flip side, we're going to talk about Florida vacation rental regulations, not just regular rental regulations. So this is about if you got an Airbnb or a vacation rental by owner or something like that, they're thinking about changing some regulations. We're going to tell you what's going on the flip side.
All right, excellent. And a bunch more. We still got another solid half hour before we pass the baton to the locker room. Some sports talk with an edge, of course, every Saturday here on Real Radio. You're welcome to be a part of the program. 877-927-6969. If you're not comfortable on the air with your questions, comments, concerns, make sure you use FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. It's your one-stop real estate shop. You get access to the entire team. These are pros, experts in their field, and you get them all at FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. Know it, use it, love it, share it. You can change lives with FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. We're back in 4 minutes. Florida Talk Real Estate right here, Real Radio.
What's a Real Radio podcast? It's Real Radio on demand. Find your favorite show at realradio921.com. Here's what's happening with the weather on Real Radio.
From the Gordon Partners Weather Center, have you or a loved one been injured through no fault of your own? Call 561-333-3333 or go to fortheinjured.com.
I'm meteorologist Jennifer Collins with CBS 12 News. Sunshine today with pleasant conditions as temperatures remain in the mid-70s this afternoon. Expect increasing cloud cover tonight. Temperatures will stay in the 60s through Sunday morning. Scattered showers and thunderstorms will roll through the area on Sunday with potential for heavy rainfall and strong wind gusts.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate, not one based on anyone else. So if you drive safely, you could save money. Good to know. Visit allstate.com or call for a quote today.
Hey, it's your boy Johnny C here, host of Florida Talk Real Estate. They're tops when it comes to helping people buy and sell houses. But Florida Talk Real Estate is so much more than that. For 5 years, I've watched these guys help thousands of our listeners with any real estate need. They couldn't do it without their sponsors, who are experts in their fields. Check it out. Jim DePola, powered by Keller Williams Realty. Their team specializes in helping people sell their house for top dollar, and buyers get great deals on the purchase of their home. That's what they did for me and my family, and I couldn't be happier that I hired them for my real estate transaction. Mike Rao from the mortgage firm is one of our favorite guests on the show, and he is the mortgage guy. Whether you're looking for a refi or a mortgage to purchase a new home, Mike Rao will get you the answers you need. The mortgage firm is licensed to do loans in Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, and Georgia, and they have local offices that cover all of South Florida. So if you're thinking about a refi or a new mortgage, go to the mortgage guy, Mike Rao, and find out what he can do for you. The Mortgage Firm, Inc., NMLS 189233, Florida license MLD 78, equal housing lender. The law office of Paul A. Krasker has been specializing in real estate law for nearly 25 years and has the professional team you need. Upside down with your house, Paul's team can help you conduct short sales, loan modifications, even if you're behind on payments. They also help you with foreclosure defense and bankruptcy. They can even help you get a student loan modification and repair your credit to get the score you need. Paul's full-service team has helped thousands of our listeners, and they can help you too. Trident Title LLC is the largest privately owned title company in Florida. When you need a title company to complete a refi, home purchase, or sale, Trident Title has got you covered. Not only do they offer competitive pricing, Trident Title has attorneys on staff to make sure if you have bumps in the road declaring title that you can get the job done. Beware, not all title companies in Florida have attorneys on staff. Trident Title does and complies with all the new federal regulations released last year. Ross Komarinetz, owner of Brightway Insurance, has been helping our listeners get great rates on homeowners insurance plans. Haven't checked your homeowners insurance policy in a while? This is a great way to help reduce your monthly mortgage payment. Ross can also help with renters and auto insurance. Ross is only a phone call away and can usually get the answers you need same day.
Call Ross today at 561-425-6228 or drop by his office at 873 Donald Ross Road in Juno Beach.
So now you know why I'm happy to be part of the Florida Talk Real Estate Show, the longest running real estate show in Florida. And all these sponsors are just a phone call or a click away. Just call 888-973-7828. That's 888-973-7828. Or go to floridatalkrealestate.com. That's floridatalkrealestate.com. And don't forget to use the most accurate search engine to find your new home or ask for a free home valuation because floridatalkrealestate.com has you covered. That's floridatalkrealestate.com.
This is Real Radio 92.1 and 101.7. Real talk for the Palm Beaches and the Treasure Coast. This is Florida Talk Real Estate with Jim DePola and Johnny C. Got a question for the show? Call us live at 1-877-927-6969.
Banging it out for you on a Saturday, 2 hours of infotainment, Florida Talk Real Estate style. We got a nice long segment for you. You're welcome to be a part of it. Toll free at 877-927-6969. If you want to jump into the conversation at hand or you have a question that you desperately want answered, dial it up. Jimothy, our producer extraordinaire, he'll answer and line you up. What's up, my dude?
Hello, and good morning.
You got Joe and Greek coming in?
Absolutely, yeah. We're going to talk a little sports. Got a game coming up, I believe, next Sunday.
Yeah, I think
people
so.
are interested in it for some reason.
Punxsutawney Phil did see his shadow the other day, so we got 2 more weeks of Taylor Swift.
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
2 more weeks of Taylor Swift.
Mm-hmm.
Like that.
Johnny C, that's me. Not original, by the way. That was a meme that went out instantly. So give credit to whoever designed that. Ross Komarinetz is with us. Brightway Insurance, Juno Beach is where you'll find him. I said Juno Beach. How are you, my dude?
I am awesome.
Always good to see you. Jimmy D's here too. That's Jim DePola. He runs the top producing Keller Williams team. I've told you that for about 12 plus years now.
A little bit now.
Keller Williams Innovations. You find the Florida Home Pros team. There's Jim DePola. Hello, Jimmy.
Thank you. I also want to do a shout out to Ken. Thank you so much. Ken just reached out to us, I think from the 888 number, but I'm not. Nope. I think he did it through the contact on floridatalkrealestate.com. He's a small business owner. He wants some information on commercial auto insurance coverage for his vehicles for his company.
Awesome.
So, Ken, I'm going to give all this information to Ross off air, and then you can expect for Ross's team to give you a call. And it's that easy, guys.
Just
all
like
you
that.
got to do, you don't even have to pick up the phone and call if you don't want to. You just fill out the form at floridatalkrealestate.com. How easy is that? floridatalkrealestate.com. Hey, I want insurance. Hey, I got a question about mortgages. Hey, I want to know if I could do a cash out refi. Hey, I'm thinking about buying or selling. Hey, I'm thinking about buying a multifamily. Hey, I got questions on title insurance. Hey, my developer's keeping my deposit and I don't want them to. Call us. We can try to help you with all of that stuff. We
And
can't
more.
always guarantee the results because every case is different. But what we can guarantee is that we're going to get you the best information that we can so that you can make the informed decision that makes it best for you and your family.
That's it.
That's the way it goes.
Hey,
So,
quick question. I brought up Punxsutawney Phil. Does anybody know if General Beauregard Lee saw his shadow or not?
I don't know who General Beauregard Lee.
Isn't
So
that related to the?
that's a problem. Okay, why does Puxatawny Phil get all the love? There are like 5 other groundhogs. There's in Georgia and in Ohio. There's Buckeye. What's his name? Buckeye Chuck is in Ohio. General Beauregard Lee is the groundhog in Atlanta, in Georgia.
I thought it was from that TV show from the
Damn,
70s.
Puxatawny Phil gets all the love.
Yeah.
And he's the best fade in the history of fades. He's wrong. Like 7 out of 10.
So do we have
Only
statistics
39%.
on the various other groundhogs
Yeah,
that see their
that's
shadow
kinda
and who
cool.
is the most accurate?
Well,
Do we have an almanac, a farmer's almanac?
I feel like we should dig into this a little bit deeper because
Yeah.
Puxatawny gets all the love. What if Beauregard Lee, General Beauregard Lee, is like the man, like nails it, and we
Yeah.
just ignore him because nobody cares to give him any fanfare? Or what if it's Buckeye Chuck in Ohio is like he sees
Every
it.
time.
He sees it clearly
Every time.
every time,
Like,
and we just
he's-
ignore him because Puxatawny's like me
Yeah.
over here, me.
It says Northeastern. It's just all about them.
Right.
Forget about everybody else.
So I just wanted to bring that up because we might have a more reliable source. Now, just fade Puxatawny. That's 6 out of 10 times he's wrong, right?
He's only 39%. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Over all the years.
he's just wrong. One of the great fates for sure.
It
General
is-
Beauregard Lee, I'm giving you some love down here in South Florida, my dude. You're welcome.
What was the name of that TV
2 hours
show
of
with General
infotainment.
Lee the car?
Welcome.
What was
Dukes
the
of
name?
Hazzard.
Yeah.
That's it. I thought you were talking about Dukes of Hazzard as a character when you
Well,
said General Lee
based on,
Beauregard or
based
whatever.
on General Robert E. Lee.
Yeah, I
Right.
know. But I
This
thought
is
that's where you were going.
Beauregard.
That's where I thought you were going
That
with
was
that
my
one.
pappy's
Who, by the
middle
way,
name.
one of those guys just died, right? One of those guys just died from Dukes of Hazzard.
Oh, did they?
I know Carl Weathers just died.
Yeah, Carl
Yeah,
Weathers.
he
I saw
died.
that.
I was
Yeah,
bummed out. He
that
was
sucked.
76. I
Right.
was bummed out for him. I liked Carl Weathers. He was a good character.
He's
Yeah.
a great character.
Yeah. And he always
Tom
like
Holt.
good interviews. He seemed like a decent guy and everything. Like
He's always really into fitness. Like
Yeah.
he's about making
Yeah.
making your body pristine. That's why I follow him.
yeah.
I follow his footsteps.
Tom Wopat? Did he pass away, maybe? Is that who you're talking about?
Oh, maybe
From
it
the Dukes
was
of Hazzard?
Tom. Yeah,
So
maybe.
it was either him or Schneider, right?
Oh, or it could have been maybe I'm getting it confused
Boss
with
Hog.
the trooper people. What was the
Oh,
Hog?
Roscoe P. Coltrane. Was it him, maybe?
Yeah,
He
maybe I
might have
think.
been. Okay.
Yeah. So wanted to talk to state now. Legislators are talking about changing the Florida vacation rental regulations and make it a statewide thing. The way that Airbnb, I'm calling it Airbnb, but it isn't just for Airbnbs. These are short-term rentals. Okay, so maybe I should call it short-term rental. So short-term rental is really based on local regulations, and it depends city by city, sometimes county by county, on how they want to handle short-term rentals. And when you think about it, when cities were planned out, when they plan out the cities, they decide where industrial should go and where commercial should go and multifamily should go and single-family residential should go. And then when they created this new short-term rental phenomenon, especially after COVID, all those regulations didn't matter anymore because people were using their places as commercial properties, in neighborhoods that weren't considered to be commercial. So, of course, that created a lot of problems. There's a lot of partying going on, noise, congestion, traffic of people that just don't care about the neighborhood because they're just there to party. So the state legislators are thinking about trying to make this a statewide uniform regulation across the whole state. Once again, big government over small government, right? Instead of the local
Sounds like
role.
a push by Big Hotel.
Well, it might be for all you know, but what they want to do now, this is what I thought was kind of interesting. They're saying that the state Senate bill would preempt any local government regulations, giving the state power to regulate vacation rentals, from advertising to registration to parking and more.
Which state? This free state?
Yes, this free state. So what they want to do is they want to be really granular, including the advertising, registration, parking, and more. Okay, I found that to be very interesting. Now, this article because it was a TV station here locally in Florida. Didn't have really a lot of details because that's the way a lot of TV stations do the writing when they do articles.
Yeah.
But I thought it was kind of interesting that they're trying to make this a statewide thing. And this is really going to affect a lot of people that bought these things and didn't make sure that where they bought, they're like in compliance and not going to have any future problems.
Right.
So what might happen if these regulations go through is some of the weaker short-term rental people are probably going to think that it's not profitable anymore to keep the properties. They might turn into regular homes again for other people to buy. That might start happening. We might start seeing that, but they didn't say what the regulations were in the article.
Yeah.
But we know they might be coming, so let's just keep an eye on that, and we'll get to it when we get there. Okay.
Those are always frustrating when you click through and you're like, man, there's just nothing
There's
here.
not
You
enough
get
So many
in there.
times
on
I
this?
read an article and I'm like, oh, all right, that's an interesting headline. Let me go ahead and read the article. And then I get to the end and the author's name's at the end and I'm like, that's it?
There's nothing there.
Shouldn't there be
Yeah.
more? Shouldn't you have wrapped this up or tied it in? Like, and these are like Wall Street Journal, like.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's frustrating.
yeah.
It's pretty common these days. They're just trying to get you to click through. I guess
That's right.
It's working. Yeah,
Yeah,
You're like, oh, that's I definitely want to read about that.
Yeah.
Nothing. Yeah, well,
Sorry, hold on here 1 second. I'm sorry, guys.
and I'm totally with you on that. Like, what's the motivation here? Who's pushing for the need for this? It's clearly the hotel lobby,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I mean, that's what as soon as he said regulations, I was like, oh, big hotel,
Yep.
whatever, big farm, but we are just joking, big hotel. But I would imagine that industry is taking a little bit of a hurting,
I would think.
so that's probably them wanting to make it a little bit more difficult for.
Tougher.
Yeah.
For competition to push their way in a little bit.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I've been getting a lot of calls that we're sending to Mike about questions about refis because the interest rates have been dropping.
Mike
right?
Rao, the mortgage guy
Mike
from
Rao,
the mortgage firm.
the mortgage guy, right? And we've had, we got up to 7. Now this is the Freddie Mac rate, so we're just using this to base a benchmark of where we were. We were at 7.79 for the peak of last year in November. We're at 6.63 now. We've been as low as 6.49, I think. If I'm not, no, did we get that low? Recently, I don't know if we got that low recently.
It don't matter.
Yeah, but roughly 6.5. So we've dropped almost a point and a quarter over time. Now that's significant. Usually, back when we started the show, we used to tell people usually the 1 point drop in rate was something that you really seriously should look at as far as doing refi. But I want to throw out there to people that are thinking of this, because what I expect to happen is we're going to see more and more people now thinking about refining, especially people that bought last year and the year before.
Sure.
And what I want to tell them is, even if you can get a point savings right now, you still might want to wait a little bit longer as long as you can afford what you're doing and you don't need cash out refi or something like that. Hold tight, because hopefully
Cash out might be tough because you got to be positioned for that.
Well, there's so many people have equity right now.
Sure, but isn't it like 80?
Yeah, you have to.
If you bought a year ago, you're not positioned for cash out.
No, probably not, unless you put a big down payment down.
True.
Right?
So you're just
there's-
getting your money back.
Yeah, that's true. So, but the thing is that my attitude is we probably will see interest rate reductions later this year, and I expect this summer we're going to see some. I don't think it's going to be as much as the Feds are saying, or not the Feds, as much as the Wall Street's saying, but I still think that we will see some. And it might be better just to wait a little bit longer, because why not get 1.75% drop instead of a 1.25% drop?
Right. If you're going to get a cost of a refi, right?
Yeah, because if you have to pay for the cost of the refi, you don't want to do it again, because now you're paying for 2 refis to get the same rate if you just waited a little bit longer. So the best way to deal with this is, if you don't need it now and you give us a call, we'll figure out everything out for you with Mike, and we'll put you on what we call our interest rate alarm situation. So if the interest rates start going down dramatically or start spiking up, we might say, hey, you might not want to wait any longer. Now might be get while the getting's good. Or we might say, wait a little bit longer, you might get a better return. Now, the other way that you need to calculate this is you take the full closing costs of what it's going to cost to do the refi, and you divide that by the monthly savings you're getting. And if you're not getting like 2.5 years, if you're not paying off that refi costs in like 2.5 years, 2 to 3 years, if you're not getting that, it might not be worth refi. You might not be getting the benefit. If it takes you 5, 6, 7 years just to get the money back from the refi, you're probably not getting a big enough discount in order to make it worth refi. Okay.
Right.
So don't fall into that trap, because we're going to go through this cycle, because we've went through it a couple of times on this show, but we're going to be going through a cycle where refi is going to be a lot, and Mike's going to be very busy with refis.
Oh yeah.
That's coming. Okay. But be smart about it. Don't just react because you can. That's the one where you might want to weigh the market a little bit before you make a decision. As long as you can afford the payment that you have now, right? You don't need cash right now or something like that. And a lot of times you might not want to do the cash out refi. A lot of people, it might not be a smart thing to do that.
Exactly right. But talking with a professional who can lay it all out and give you all the information to weigh out, because it is about your positioning, your family's future, and it is about your day-to-day. Like sometimes the reality is that the advice that's given isn't the advice you follow, because it's required. You have to do it at this point. And the team understands, but they're going to give you the best information possible. And it's all of them. Pros at floridatalkrealestate.com, including Mike Rao, the mortgage guy from the mortgage firm. You'll get them all at floridatalkrealestate.com.
I also want to talk about advice to buyers right now. This is a really big thing, and I'm talking to a couple people right now. We're talking to Kathy and her family right now. They've been talking to us for almost 2 years they live in Jersey, and for 2 years they've been talking about moving down here and finding a place, but they weren't in an extreme rush. Now, when they first met with us, the interest rates were in the low fives, okay, maybe even high fours. Then it got all the way up to 7.79, and now we're at 6.63. So I just had a really good conversation with Kathy this year, and I just this week, and I said, Kathy, you had no rush to do this, so it didn't matter whether you did it or not. There wasn't an actual need; it was more of a desire. But if you're really going to do this, now I think would be the time where you really should get very serious about doing it. If we find what you're looking for, let's go ahead and buy it. And this is why I'm saying this. And anybody out there that's thinking of buying in the next year in South Florida, you really got to listen to what I'm saying, because it really might help you in a positive way. People really don't realize that the interest rates have dropped that much. When I told somebody yesterday that the interest rates dropped almost 1.25 points, since November, they were stunned and said, when are interest rates dropping? Because what they read in the paper is interest rates are high, but they're not saying that they're going down.
Right.
And they have no idea. So that's the way most people are right now.
Yeah, both are true. They're going down. They're still high.
And they're still high. Right.
Yeah.
They're still high from a couple years ago.
From a number that you want, 3. Yeah.
But here's the thing. A lot of people don't understand what the cycle is, because they don't listen to a weekly show like ours to let them know what's going on. And what happens is they're going to wake up and they're going to go, wow, it's a really great time to buy. These interest rates are low. Even though the prices haven't dropped, I got to take advantage of these interest rates. And they're all going to run out. It's going to be like a herd mentality. And all of a sudden, you're going to see this mad dash to go buy houses. But we still don't have any inventory. So then you're going to be, and this is why I explained to Kathy, right now, if you go and look for properties, we might be able to find you a property that's been on the market 60, 80, 180 days on the market. They're asking a certain price. You come in way lower, and they might actually take it, or come in way lower than what the list price is. But once everybody wakes up and we get all these buyers rushing in there, you're back to bidding wars, competing with everybody else. Can't turn in less than full asking price without getting beat up and losing the deal, or being worried you're going to lose the deal. Right now, you don't have to worry about any of that. You just go out and find the property you want. So if you're, and what I told Kathy was, know your numbers, which we already had with her. And then we just start looking seriously now, but not with a rush mentality. It's like, hey, I don't have to buy anything right now, but the interest rates are poised right, and I'm ready. So when I find the one that I really want, I'm pulling that trigger. But until then, I'm not doing anything. I'll just look, swipe. What is it? Swipe left, like in those Tinder things or whatever. I don't do those.
There you
So
go.
whatever the negative one is, it left. Is
I
I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay,
Bumble?
well, whatever
You
the
must be in
negative one.
Bumble.
Feels good. I'm
Yeah,
gonna say left.
left is
That
bad, right?
feels-
Left is bad, right?
that
Is
feels
good or whatever.
Yeah.
So just swipe left, swipe left, swipe left. Until you find the right one. Then when you find the right one, in today's market, you can negotiate.
Mhm.
You can go in there and say, hey, I like your house, but I don't like it at that price. I want to pay this price, and go back and forth a little bit and not have the pressure of looking over your shoulder and go, is somebody jumping over me to beat me out on this? You don't have to go through that right now for most houses. So take advantage of this market instead of competing with the herd mentality and just being another schmo following the trend. Be smarter than that and try to set yourself up so you can zig while everybody else is zagging. And then when you get your house early and then everybody else is running out to get your house and all your friends are like, man, it's so hard in this market to buy your house right now. You're going to like, well, you should have bought it 6 months ago. It would have been a lot easier.
Yes.
So if you're thinking about buying, and I'm talking to you in a way that you haven't heard other realtors or experts talk to you about this kind of stuff, that's because I want to be your consultant and try to give you the advice that you need to make the best decision for your family, not to sell you to do something that might be in just my interest. That
Right.
isn't what we're about.
It is not at all. It's not the perspective of really anybody on the team. That's why they work so well together, and that's why they have been together for so long. Florida Talk Real Estate is .com. Your one-stop real estate shop, Florida talkrealestate.com. Access to the entire team, pros, like-minded pros. It's just about getting you the best results for you and yours at Florida talkrealestate.com.
I guess I'm going to bring this up. Keller Williams, is the company that I work for. It's the largest brokerage in the country. I found out that we have way more agents than we used to have. We have 180,000 agents in the world, right? I didn't know it. I thought it was like 160. So we grew by 20,000 agents somehow. I don't know how. But anyway, there's been a big industry fight right now going on with multiple class action lawsuits against brokerages, National Association of Realtors, and the multiple listing service, saying it's been unfair to sellers for many, many years that they're required to, in order to be on the MLS, to pay a real estate or to offer a real estate commission to the buyer. The concept is that breaks antitrust laws, and that the buyer's fee should be paid by the buyer for the agent. Like if the buyer wants to hire a real estate agent, they should pay for it, not have the seller pay for the agent for the buyer of their property. And the seller should be able to offer a commission if they want to, but not be forced to offer commission by the MLS, which from what I understand is the way it works is MLS will not allow you to put, and every MLS is different, and there's over 1,000 of them in the country, but the MLSs generally will not allow you to put a property on the MLS as a listing agent or a seller without offering something to the buyer's side. So there's some lawsuits that have
You
been,
just put like $1 though, right? I mean,
you could put
yeah.
down $1. Yeah, back then, yeah, even you could do $1. Yes, you could, right? Now, what I found interesting about that is we're in a very weird market for these decisions to be made because we're in a very strong seller's market. So right now, if sellers want to play super hardball, I don't even believe this to be fully true, but it is the best market where sellers don't need a real estate agent, buyer's agent, because there's so low inventory. So if you put it out there, some buyer's going to find you. It might not be as fast and efficient as if you're marketing it with a realtor the right way, but you could probably find a buyer. But when the market shifts to a buyer's market or a neutral market, and I've been in those markets down here before.
Sure.
And sellers offer higher commissions than what is traditionally being offered in today's market. They offer between 1% and 2% traditionally higher than what people are paying today, because it's hard when you're in a buyer's market. The sellers have to compete and try to get those few buyers to buy their property. So they offer a higher commission. Why? Because that buyer's agent is valuable to the seller.
Yep.
Now, I don't have a problem with the seller having a decision how they want to handle that. I think that that's only fair. So, but there were these big lawsuits, and one of the lawsuits, the class action lawsuits, was 1.8 billion with the B in damages. And because of what happened in the process, there could be treble damages for it. So we might be looking at over $5 billion to the industry, which would break a lot of companies. So Keller Williams just made an announcement that they settled one of the biggest class action lawsuits against Keller Williams. They settled it for $70 million. So Keller Williams is paying that, and they just came out with an announcement saying, we want, and I love this about Gary Keller, because I think this is a really important way to do it. He said, we could have fought it, we might have won, but we will be spending so many years in court trying to go through this process, and we'll be spending so much time and effort trying to get through it. We'd be better just to make a settlement now, do a reset, make sure that we have best practices going forward. And the way that he set it up, the lawsuit precludes anybody from suing teams or individual agents. So Keller Williams has taken all the brunt of it, and then protecting everybody else underneath that have been operating under these systems and doing it. So
that's awesome.
Just if anybody has questions about real estate commissions and how it's changing over time, I'm very transparent and honest and have no problem talking about it. I do have to say that the lawsuits are very complicated. So and I'm being real, I read and read, but I'm still not sure I fully grasp.
I read a lot about it too, and I really struggle to understand how this is coming together and even gotten this far.
And on the face of it, it sounds like, it kind of sounds like, a good thing, I shouldn't be forced to do this. But at the same time, it's like, okay, then what happens next?
And
like
nobody
huge,
knows.
Onion to unravel or whatever to figure out how to do that. Because, the way it's been working has seemed to have worked.
Well, and isn't it everything, especially when it comes to commission, it's negotiable, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's the thing. I complied through this whole time. It's so funny. I said exactly what the national lawyers said should be said when you're sitting down at a commission.
Yeah.
And I say exactly what they're deciding now that should be done, because I explain how commissions work in the real way, and then say it's the Wild West in Florida. If you can get me to do 0% commission, that's legal. If I get you to do 10%, that's legal too.
Sure.
But it's totally negotiable. And then I actually open up the MLS and show what other people are offering when they're selling their houses, so they know that they're not paying more than their neighbors.
Well, and you can show your stats, like, hey, here's what I do. Here's this is what I can offer you. We talk about that for 12 years about vetting your realtor. That should be part of the process, including talking about what commissions are going to be. That right there, you go, how do we end up where we're at then?
Well, even administrators for the brokerages and everything, they don't even really know what's going on either, because I ask, and they all want to be helpful, but they don't know either. Right. So we're all going through learning curves.
It feels like that's awesome for Keller Williams to step in and just kind of wipe it clear for all the teams and everybody that I guess is in limbo.
Sounds like they put the cart before the horse or something.
Well, there were other places that lost $1.8 billion.
Right. But what I'm saying is,
I see.
Come up with a solution,
rip the Band-Aid off,
and then go, here's what we're doing. And if you don't do it this way, then we're going to sue you for $1 billion.
Yeah.
Well,
because isn't there? There's always the option to go for sale by owner, as we noted. You don't have to be represented.
Right.
That's your decision.
You're entering into this formula,
right?
And
this is part of the process, including negotiating commissions. It's really, I'm with you, Jim. The more I read, the more I go, I just can't get any understanding as to how the hell where we're at for this.
It's going to be interesting, but that's what I love about changes, and that's what I love about the show. We just go through the changes, and whatever the cycles are, we try to educate you so you can do the best.
Excellent. That's kind of been the mantra, and you can experience all that and so much more. FloridaTalkRealEstateIs.com. If you're buying a home, selling a home, you're stuck with a home, you don't know what to do, we learned today that maybe you're a small business owner. And you're like, oh yeah, I got insurance, don't I? Yeah, and you haven't thought about it in a long time. This team can do so very much for you. We talked a little bit about student loan debt today. We scratched the surface on a lot of things. You very much can get the benefit of a pro's pro at floridatalkrealestate.com. I know we've had a few small business owners reaching out today going,
Right now.
Actually, thanks for bringing that up. Do need to talk with Ross, Brightway Insurance, Juno Beach. Remember, if you have a need, this team can help you out. Even if it maybe just leads you in the right direction, might be what they're doing for you. FloridaTalkRealEstate.com is something you should write down, know, use, love, and share. It's FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. The hotline's there, 888-973-7828. Call it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. Ross, have a great weekend. That's Ross Komarinetz with Brightway Insurance, Juno Beach. Always good to see you. And thanks for the Corona.
Oh, you're very welcome. I hope everybody has a good weekend. I'm going to try and do my best to enjoy it.
My man. I know you're gonna. Jimmy D, I hope you do the same. Always a pleasure.
Thank you, Johnny. Thank you.
It's Jim DePola with the Florida Home Pros team, Keller Williams Innovations. Jimmy D's gonna hang out and make some sports radio.
Yeah, let's talk a little football.
I'll be listening.
Very
Appreciate
bummed
you,
out
my
about
friend.
Lamar.
I got Greek. Yeah, well, that's what happens when the number one rushing team in the NFL doesn't run the ball.
Well, that'll happen, huh?
They handed the ball off 6 times. The number one rushing team in the Baltimore Ravens handed the ball off to their running back 6 times against the Chiefs.
Well, I did not know that.
It's not a recipe for success,
Nope,
my
not good.
friend. It is
Not good.
Greek and Joe, they're ready to go. Thank you for being with us. Florida Talk Real Estate will be back at it next Saturday. 2 hours of infotainment every Saturday. Florida Talk Real Estate style right here on Real Radio.